So we're at the Aspen-Pitkin County Airport, otherwise known as Sardi Field, and today is the triennial exercise. We do this every 3 years, and what that means is we're putting on a full-size exercise of what would be an Alert 3, which would be an aircraft crash, and then what that entails is a ARF response, and then along with that ARF response we set up a command, and we actually then bring in our mutual aid. So you would have Aspen Ambulance, you'd have Aspen Fire, you have Roaring Fork Fire, and then as far as Carbondale Fire. But today is an opportunity for us to practice together, and then in addition, the FAA is here to monitor this and make sure that we're doing everything right as far as our emergency response goes. Alongside that, we have a lot of participants from the community that are going to be playing as victims, and then we also have a company called 139 Fire out here who helps us facilitate all of our training so that we comply every year. But today is just an opportunity to make sure that the community, Pitkin County, and the airport is capable of handling an aircraft crash.
For the exercise, Aspen Tower, Alert 3, west of runway 1533, collision between the CRJ 700 and Citation 10, 41 souls and unknown fuel on board the CRJ. Unknown souls, unknown fuel on the citation. Exercise, exercise, exercise.
You all stay right here. If you can all walk, we're going to keep you right here, okay? Stay here. We can get someone else to come and walk. I give you some gauze, and I want you to put this on your face and roll it on your left side, okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. There you go.
The goal of this is to make this as realistic as possible. Unfortunately, we do live in a world where there are multi-casualty incidences, MCIs, that happen a lot, whether that's a mass shooting, it's a bus crash, it's a plane crash, things like that. We're lucky here that we don't have those as often as potentially a more populated area, but we do have to prepare and train as if they are going to happen frequently. Today our scenario was supposed to be 2 plane crashes, so there was a lot of just blunt force trauma. We had some penetrating injuries, we had some bleeding that was uncontrolled we had to control. We had some people who were unconscious and unresponsive. Most of what we saw today, if not entirely, was all trauma-based, just based on the mechanism of what was going on. In this case, we had 41 patients today, and we have to have some way to categorize who's most injured and who is less injured, and be able to take who needs to get medical care the fastest. So there's something that is called the START criteria, and that categorizes people into 4 different categories. You have green, which is like you're walking wounded, people who are injured but they're able to walk, follow commands, they can listen to our voices and go where we tell them to go. There's yellow, where they're more injured, sometimes they can walk, sometimes they can't. It depends. There's other vital signs we look at to categorize them as immediate, which means they need attention. There's critical, that's going to be red. Those are the most important people of the day. They need to get to the hospital sooner than anybody else. And once again, there's categories of vital signs that we're looking for to be able to categorize someone as critical versus immediate. And then there's black, which is deceased, and that would just be where they're deceased on scene. No need for medical transport or for a hospital, because there's nothing we can do for those patients. Had a lot of hands on deck to make this realistic. We had all these different agencies across the Roaring Fork Valley help out with apparatuses, resources, simulating. In this case, it was a plane crash, so we had some fire. We also had people doing makeup and moulage, so the patients look actually injured. It's not just a dummy or a piece of paper that says that there's a patient. It's an actual person with a shoulder injury or head injury, things like that. So there's a lot that they do to try and make this as simulated as possible to be realistic, because if and when that scenario happens, you don't want to be thinking twice about what to do. You just need to jump in and